Welcome back, Scout the Statliners. I am, as always, here I am, Brian, and my friend. I'm just going to call you Ross. That's what your name is from now on, right?
That is what my name is.
It's just Ross.
It is just Ross.
Just Ross. But welcome back. Welcome back. We are bringing you another top 10 from scoutthestatline.com. Tonight we are going to do shortstops, and we all know what comes with shortstops, right? I mean,
Controversy.
It's not as bad as the major leagues, but people put their stakes down on shortstop lists. Like, these are my guys. If he's not on your list, I'm never going to talk to you guys again or listen to you guys again. So this is going to be a good one. We've already ran through it. It looks great. We have a couple surprises on there, 2, maybe 3 surprises on there. I would rank them a little bit differently. But before we get into baseball, how are you?
Doing good. Just finished Thanksgiving week, and I had some company in town, and we had a lot of fun. I have way too much food. I'm still eating it. And probably gained about 15 pounds, but
it's good.
It's okay.
Did you get some good booze in too?
I had some beers indeed.
Nice.
Yeah. How about you? You were out of town.
No, I was out of town. I got back Tuesday, but yes, I went to Green Bay, Wisconsin, went to historical Lambeau Field, and watched the Green Bay Packers kick the shit out of the Los Angeles Chargers. It was awesome. It was top 5 things I've ever done in my life. I got to walk out of the tunnel. They had the crowd on the sound speakers and stuff. When I was walking out of the tunnel, I got to slap the little plaque. I could have, at that moment, I could have played one play. I was juiced up. Like I could do that. I could have one play. I would have never got back up again, but it was good. It was really, really good. Did some tours, ate a lot of cheese curds. I mean, a lot of cheese curds.
Yeah.
But the tours were great. Very historical over there. The weather was great. It was nice and warm. It's starting to downturn a little bit here. I don't know. What's the weather like in Boise right now?
It's cold, but I don't think we've had like a snow officially yet to this point. It's cold outside though. It's pretty bitterly cold, but still no snow. Frosted all over in the mornings. Interesting though.
Yeah, we really haven't even had cold. I mean, it's 30. But it's not bitter cold. It's really windy, which sucks. But other than that, Montana right now is abnormally cold or warm. But everything's been great.
Cold is never really like Montana cold, so it's a little different.
Yeah, and Wisconsin cold was a little bit different too, because that wind was coming off the lakes. Like, you could feel it. Like, it was, I don't know, 40 some degrees outside, and you could feel just like this little nip, the extra nip on top of the air that was like, holy cow. Below 0 in Wisconsin would be awful.
Yeah. Sure, yes, that too.
Yeah. But let's get some beers in. What do you say?
Let's do it. Got to do the beers.
You want to go first?
I think I went first last time. Why don't you go ahead?
I'm not scared. I'm not scared at all to do some Summer Honey seasonal ale from Big Sky Brewing Company. This is
did you intentionally go with a summer ale?
Yes, because it's getting cold. I want to stay warm, man. So we're doing some Summer Honey seasonal ale from Big Sky Brewing in Missoula, Montana. It's Summer Honey is a full flavored, refreshing summer seasonal. The unique blend of honey and spices complement the European hops without making the beer too sweet. 5% horsepower on this one.
It's a very cool can. Yes. That bear looks like he's about to take a dip.
In my belly is where he's going to take a dip. All right, let's get you a pour. Let's hear it. Hey.
There we go.
Hey. It's going to have a lot of citrus.
It's filtered. Okay, filtered summer honey ale, I guess.
Oh, it's going to be good.
Big gulp, eh?
It's a great beer. It's a little bit more powerful than I thought it would be. I know it's 5%, which isn't super heavy, but you can taste the alcohol in this one. A 6-pack is going to do me just fine with this stuff. It's good. It's very citrusy. Lemon peel, big time. I like it. I like it a lot. And it reminds me of summer.
Perfect. That's what you need right now.
Right now.
Right
or
now.
I guess, or spring, because we're talking about baseball. We're not too far away. I mean, what do we got? 4 months before everybody starts reporting?
Yeah, 4 or 5 months. We got to get busy, man. We got to still do our digital prospect manual or whatever we're calling this thing. We still got to get that out there. That's going to be a lot of work.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of work to do.
A lot of beer to drink.
Well, this is the first step, getting through rankings.
Yep.
Rankings podcasts.
Love it.
All right. Hey, by the way, we got a new voice on these digital airwaves. Doc Holliday, Darren Eisenhower, I think is what his last name is.
Yeah, okay.
He is now doing some digital shorts for us. He just put one out today, so really looking forward to that. Hopefully, we can at least get a few of those per week, and those are just a lot of fun. Real quick hits on different prospects of interest. So keep your eyes out for that. It should be good stuff.
Not only that, but Doc gave us a little bit of a spoiler. He's got a movie coming out in a few months.
Yeah, he's the real deal as far as having a voice and being on screen. I am not the real deal. I'm the real phony deal when it comes to this stuff. So
fake it till you make it, man. That's why I'm here.
I noticed this is a total aside, but I feel like every time we do the introduction, Brian, as always, there's always a glitch in there somehow. There's some kind of hitch. We always screw that up, like some way, Yeah. But we're here, That's the important part. We're here. We're doing it.
That's my tagline, man. Brian, as always.
Brian is liners, stat heads, whatever we're gonna call you. Okay, so here's my beer today. New Belgium Transatlantique Kriek. So it's a New Belgium beer, as you can tell from the name. It says it's a 50% traditional cherry lambic ale and 50% foeder aged sour golden ale. I chased some of these New Belgium's specialty beers ever since, and I've talked about this on here, La Folie. That experience, I think, really opened up my eyes when it came to beer tasting. So I'm always seeking it out, kind of like a fiend looking to feed that addiction, So this is not very strong. It's only 5.2%. And it's only 12 ounces. So it looks like a lot more being in this bottle. So hopefully it's worth it. Okay, let's give her a pop. I feel like mine are always challenging to open up here.
Hey, you can't talk during the pop, man. We got to hear that.
Did you hear it?
I heard it, but it's very silent. You got to get it up to the microphone, man. We got to be able to hear that stuff.
Okay, come up to the microphone next time. Lesson learned. Okay, so it's very red, lambic style. I've been doing a lot of these, it seems like, on the podcast lately.
I've been kind of jealous.
So see how much space it's still got in the glass there. I was a little disappointed when I read that it was only 12 ounces, so I brought it back up 90 shilling, which I will drink if I need to. All right. Here we go.
It's going to be delicious.
I need to give that one another sip. It's a lot more sour than I expected. It's good, but I'm not picking up a lot of the cherry or fruit flavors. It's very sour.
Okay.
It's certainly worth a try, though. Certainly worth a try. New Belgium Transatlantic Creek specialty beer. All right.
See, I feel like our beer drinking styles really showcase our personalities too. Like when I get something, man, I'm diving headfirst in and I'm taking like 4 gulps. That's just my personality. That's the way I do things. Ross sips it and he wants to see like what are we getting ourselves into here? Let's not go headfirst into this yet. Let's see what we're getting into. Let me try it. Not me, man. I'm going right through it.
So what does that say about my personality exactly?
I think you're a little bit more cautious than I am.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that might be true. I don't know. Yeah. Hard to say, but not with prospects. Let's go. I'm a risk taker. Full on.
Come on. No, you're not.
You know, it's an interesting balance because I feel like I've always thought of myself as somebody that really focused on upside. And I'm starting to learn over the years that I'm not necessarily that guy. I'm looking for somebody that I feel like is pretty risk free, but I'm looking for them before they're well known, and so it kind of conflates that with high upside, right? Taking that approach has really worked out for me, so I'm going to continue on that path for now.
You definitely put your stamp. You definitely put your stamp on people or on players way before most people do, but it's always because of something stat based. Like you're not diving into something. You're not diving into a high schooler that has all kinds of stuff coming at him until he actually sees the minor leagues or DSL, vice versa. You know, however you want to put that. You wait till they have some cataloged stats before you really put a stamp on them.
I've said this before, and I will say it again. And this could maybe be my tagline moving forward. I try to take the guessing out of the game as much as I can. If you're guessing less and you're making considerate, thoughtful decisions based on hard data, you will find success. You know, are you going to have a slam dunk every single time? Probably not. But on the whole, you follow that process, you will have success. That's something I kind of live by. So,
you could take that in any industry that you really want to dive into at all. Yeah, just follow your process and don't stray from it.
Yep. So before we jump right into our top 10, you mentioned this a little bit. It's an interesting list. It's a pretty good list. We do have some surprises. I want to mention guys that we are not going to talk about right up front. These guys were the next 4 that did not make the top 10. And I'm just going to get it out there right now. These are all guys that I like. Some of them I really like. A couple of these guys I really like. But we've got Roderick Arias. He did not make the top 10. He had a nice breakout season. Jackson Merrill was somebody that we talked about a lot last season.
Yep.
We saw something in him early on. Marcelo Mayer did not make the top 10. He was number 12, so he was close. Had a rough second half after his promotion to AA. And Cole Young one of my favorite prospects. I've got him ranked really aggressively. He's not in our top 10. He's number 11.
Yeah.
Those are the guys that are not in there. So,
yep. And a couple of personal favorites of mine that aren't going to make the list tonight. Ronnie Mauricio, I think I say that right. Ronnie Mauricio. He's just like O'Neal Cruz, very tall, very athletic, could be really, really good if the Mets promote him. I'm excited to see that one. And then Mason Wynn. I'm surprised Mason Wynn didn't catapult to the top of this. He got the call up at the end of the year, right?
He did. He saw major league time.
Yeah. So those two, I wish we were talking about a little bit, but they did not make our list tonight.
Yeah, it looks like Wynn probably was eligible. He was just under the threshold.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I was checking on to see if he was even available. But you're right. He was eligible. Did not make it.
Yeah. Those two I'm excited about. I love the ones that Ross brought up too. But they didn't make the list. They did not make Scout the Statline's list of top 10 shortstops. And without further ado, let's dive into number 10. And this is going to be somebody that Ross is going to want to talk about quite a bit. I know he's been high on him. I am high on him, but I know Ross is very high on him. And that is going to be Adael Amador with the Colorado Rockies. He's 6 foot tall, 200 pounds. He's 20 years old. He's out of the Dominican Republic. And I'm going to showcase this year rather than what he's done in the past, even though the past has been pretty darn good. I just want to run through his 2023 numbers. He's got 275 at bats in 2023. His average was 287, on base percentage of 380, slugged 495, on base plus slugging 875. He had 15 stolen bases and 12 home runs, 15 doubles. This guy, we've talked about Amador quite a bit. He shows up on my list, Ross lists, very, very high. He squeaks in at number 10, and I think we both have him higher than number 10.
Yeah, absolutely. I have him as my number 19 overall prospect. So I'm incredibly high on Amador, and I would go so far as to say this is one of my guys. Like, I put a stamp on this guy last season. Maybe even going back a year before. I've been really high on Amador because he has all the traits that I love in a prospect, especially with his walk and strikeout ratios. I was anticipating a breakout in terms of power this year, and I kind of got it. We kind of got that this year. But let me walk through it just briefly. Last season, he hit 15 home runs. He slashed 292, 415, 445. He also had 26 stolen bases. Pretty good profile all around. But what he was lacking, that was at the single A level, but what he was lacking that would have pushed him into superstar level was a little bit more power. So I've seen this time and time again with profiles like this where these guys develop power over the years. We kind of got that this year. He boosted his slugging percentage up to 495. He only hit 12 home runs, but he was injured, so he missed time. And when he came back, he was hitting with pretty decent power for a while. So the numbers are slightly misleading in the total home run count. We did see an uptick. I would have liked to have seen more. But he's still walking more than he struck out this season. And last season, he walked 87 times and only struck out 67. This year it was 39 and 37, respectively. So still really good, a little lower, but he did make his way all the way up to Double-A by season's end. So I'd say it's a successful season. He ranks in the top 10. He did not last year. He projects pretty well by Scout the Statline. And we're looking at somebody who's kind of knocking on the major leagues within the next year or two. Might not be as a shortstop. They got Tovar up there at shortstop, really good defensively. Amador maybe moves over to second base, something like that. But he's got excellent plate discipline. I'm pulling for him. He's one of my favorite prospects.
I love it. So we got he's a little bit old of a 20-year-old. He will be 21 to start the season, but he's already in Double-A. He's probably going to see Triple-A. In my mind, a well-run organization would have him in the major leagues next year. I don't think
we'll see. I mean, that might be a little aggressive. I would expect that it's more likely that 2025, but you never know. And he'll finally be healthy. And I haven't changed my whole theory and hypothesis of Amador yet, that I thought he would develop power. I think we had an injury that might have intervened with that. So we'll see. That is still in play. I'm still looking for it. Could be a huge breakout for this year if it works out. And if so, then we will see him in the major leagues for sure.
Yeah. He missed 200 at bats this year, at least probably 200 and damn near 250. So he missed half a year. I'm going to put my stamp on it right now. I think he sees the major leagues this year.
Love it.
This is a complete gut feeling for me. And I think it can move Tovar off of short because let's be honest, when you have a superstar shortstop, you don't move him off that position. You keep him there. And I think Amador is a superstar. He's an absolute go get him to me.
So absolutely, I agree with you across the board, but I'm going to take the thoughtful position and play a little devil's advocate here for a valuation perspective. He comes in at 10th here. He is ranked number 50 overall on Scout the Statline's rankings for hitters. And you do have people like me putting him as a top 20 prospect. And I'm not alone there. I don't think, the big publications are as high as I am on him, but they are relatively high. So he's not somebody that you're getting for cheap. So that's the one caveat I'm going to add in here. So while I endorse going after him from a value perspective, this is maybe not the guy to target right now.
Okay. It's funny that you brought up Tovar because that was going to be my first question that I was going to ask is who the Rocky shortstop was, as far as a blocker, because I forgot about Tovar. But then as soon as you brought it up, I was like, well, that question goes out the window. Amador, I like him. Go get him. Number nine, we are going to jump into our first surprise. As I stated before, there's 2, maybe 3 surprises in here. Here's our first one, and that's going to be Jefferson Rojas. Jefferson Rojas is with the Single-A affiliate with the Chicago Cubs. He is 5'10", 180 pounds. He's only 18 years old. He's out of the Dominican Republic. He has, in his career, 420 at bats, but I'm going to skip the 145 that was at the DSL level, and I'm going to jump into 2023. He had 275 at bats this year. His average was 265, on base percentage of 342, slugged 400, on base plus slugging is 742, 7 home runs, 13 stolen bases, 14 doubles, 1 triple, and 62. I want to point these out because this is a big tagline, especially for you when you're scouting players. It's not so much for me, but I do like to bring this up. His strikeouts are 62 compared to 23 walks. What do you got on Rojas, my friend?
So I think the big thing is here, the big highlight, he's with the Chicago Cubs. I don't know if you mentioned that, but the big highlight that I want to bring up is that he was a young 18 for this entire year, and he played almost the entire season at Single-A, which is a pretty aggressive assignment. So STS is very clearly picking up on the age and level factoring in his case. He had a good showing through the season. It wasn't phenomenal, but pretty good. He flashed, he flashed double-digit home run potential and potentially 20-plus stolen base sort of potential. So there's a lot of opportunity, I think, with Jefferson Rojas, and not a lot of people are talking about him yet. So this is a guy that I would endorse going and getting. Go get him. He's definitely one of those guys. Yeah.
We got to go get him. Yes, as you stated, he played the whole year at 18. He will not be 19 until April 25th of this upcoming year. So he'll play the whole season next year at 19. Presumably, I would say at A, and then probably get a taste of high A throughout the year. This is very exciting to me to have that kind of age difference as far as an affiliate is concerned. I don't know a lot about this guy, but everything looks very promising there. Obviously, Scout the Statline loves him. Go get him.
Yep. Go get him.
All right. Number 8. Number 8's going to be a famous name that everybody's all heard about. This is not going to be somebody that you're going to go out and get for the cheap, but here he is with Arizona Diamondbacks. He is Jordan Lawler. Jordan Lawler is 21 years old. He was born 7/17/2002, so he'll play most of the season for as a 21-year-old. Jordan Lawler is 6'1", 190 pounds. He was drafted in round 1, pick overall 6, out of Dallas. Let's see, Jesuit Prep, Dallas, Texas. Lawler, I think he's giving everything to us that we all talked about during the draft, during him coming up through the rankings. All he's doing is proving it now, right? Like he could be so much higher on this list, and I think he probably is higher on everybody's list. But we were all so high on him anyways. He's just proving it now. Like I don't know how to better put that. All he's doing is just proving it.
Yeah, I mean, I have him as a top 10 prospect. Yeah. And he did make the major leagues. He has really shown it. He's proven himself. And he's number 37 on Scout the Statline, so it's not like he's far off. But I think there's more talent here. And it was kind of a tale of two seasons for Lawler. He had a really, really rough start to the season. And if not for that rough start, his final slash line this year in the minor leagues, at least, would be pretty pristine. Yeah. So, I mean, hitting for average, getting on base, hitting for power, stealing bases, kind of doing everything. And of course, he's made his way up to the major leagues now. And part of the reason why he's a little bit down for Scout the Statline, despite making the major leagues, is the rough sample that he's had so far there. So, easy endorsement to go get Jordan Lawler, I think. The flip side of that is that he is not cheap, clearly. Everybody has this guy as a top 10 prospect pretty much. And if not, he's real close. So costs pretty penny, but you're going to get a little bit of everything in his profile. So
yeah, I didn't even touch on the stats because I think we all know it, especially if you're listening to us, you know, baseball. But yeah, he had 36, or just this year in 2023, had 36 stolen bases, 20 home runs, average of 278, on base 378. He just proved it. He proved everything I was thinking. One thing I want to add to this is, yes, he can stay in the majors to begin 2024. All he has for blockers is age above him. And I can't remember the guy's name, the shortstop that played for the Diamondbacks for the majority of the season. His last name was Rojas, right?
Josh Rojas.
Yeah, I believe it was Josh Rojas. So, they can shuffle him off. It's just age that's in front of him. They're going to let Jordan Lawler play. They're going to let him play, and that is going to be such a fun team to watch.
What
with
about
Corbin
Perdomo? Is he
Carroll.
playing?
Who's that?
Perdomo?
Yeah, he could have been playing third.
I don't know
But
where
yeah,
he's
you
been
Corbin Carroll and Jordan Lawler. It's such a fun young team. It's going to be a lot of fun to watch the Arizona Diamondbacks. Alec Thomas. It's going to be great.
Yeah, they have a really good young team. I'm not worried about Lawler being blocked by anyone.
No.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I just have one more thing to highlight, and it's that power speed combo that I was saying, the all around approach. He does project for 18 home runs and 24 stolen bases at peak. So that nice combo of power and speed. And his grades are 50 for hit, 50 for power, and 60 for speed. So a little above average speed in that profile as well. And I think there's a little bit more than those grades as well. I think that's a little short on Lawler.
Very upset at myself that I didn't dive into the comps because they are one of my favorite things on the site. Can you give me the comps on the two fellows before that we just talked about?
Yes. So the last two, Amador got George Watkins, which do you have any familiarity with George Watkins?
No, it's a pretty basic name. I can't quite pinpoint anything on there.
He's going way back, back to the 1930s. So you shouldn't have any familiarity with him. Not a hugely successful career. Started a little bit later, but he did hit for some average and had pretty good plate discipline. That's what it's queuing in on, I think. And then our next one, Jefferson Rojas, got Bill Robinson, who is a player from the 70s, if I remember, 60s, 70s, and a little bit in the 80s. Pretty solid long career for Bill Robinson. He did have some seasons where he was hitting for pretty good power, 20 home run sort of power, and some seasons where he got some MVP consideration, but ultimately, not a huge difference maker in the grand scheme, but he did have his moments. So it's an interesting one.
And Jordan Lawler
peak
got
for
Nate McClough.
Yep.
Do you know who Nate McClough
Nate
is?
McClough. That's more. Yeah, that's a much more recent player.
Okay.
Kind of bounced around. Was with the Braves for, that's the period I remember him the most for. The Pirates and the Braves, but had some pretty good seasons in there, especially with the Pirate. It looks like with the Pirates, he had a couple 20 home run seasons.
Nice.
Solid player, but not a great one.
Oh, okay.
I think Lawler will be better than that.
Okay. All right. We are moving on to number 7 already. Here is our second surprise in my mind. And this is probably going to be a name that a lot of people don't even recognize. And that is going to be Ricardo Cabrera. Ricardo Cabrera is a 19-year-old out of Venezuela. He's 5'11", 178 pounds. In 2023, he got 162 at-bats in 2 different affiliates for the... I apologize. Who's he play for, Ross?
He's with the Cincinnati Reds.
I apologize. The Cincinnati Reds. He got 143 at-bats at the rookie level with the Cincinnati Reds. He batted .350, on base .469, slugged .559 with an on-base plus slugging of 1.028, which is huge. And then he got called up to the single A at 19 years old. So that's a big deal. He is going to play all of 2024 at 19 years old. And he's already at the single A affiliate. He got 19 at-bats, batted .316, and on base .519, slugged .316. So not much to talk about there. Pretty small sample size, but overall, 5 home runs, 24 stolen bases in 2023. Really good numbers, really, really young. We're going to know a lot more about Ricardo Cabrera in 2024. This is probably somebody that we got to really look at right now before the price gets really expensive. What do you think?
Oh, heck yeah. Ricardo Cabrera is a guy I really like. And if you've been following Scout the Statline, you couldn't have missed him because I've been writing about this guy. I've been talking about him. I like him a lot, and I think he's somebody you want to hop on right now to grab before his prices do start to escalate too much. I think there's an excellent bat there. I think there's some developing power and pretty good speed. And Scout the Statline is seeing a lot of those attributes as well. They have him projected for 19 home runs and 25 stolen bases. If you were just listening to me on Jordan Lawler, you would know that that's slightly better than what they're projecting for Lawler. So that's impressive, something you want to pay attention to. His scout grade equivalencies are 60 for hit, 50 for power, and 60 for speed. I'm seeing a lot of the same stuff. So I'm really excited for him. I think this could be yet another impact player for the Cincinnati Reds, and I'm looking forward to really seeing how he validates his performances from this year next year.
The Reds are on fire right now. Let's be honest. They are on fire.
Yep. Agreed.
What they're going to have, if they can keep it together and these guys keep progressing, in 3 years, it's going to be the Diamondbacks and the Reds every single season.
Well, they got a logjam in the middle infield, so that's an issue. They got to figure out where to play those guys. I mean, it's a good issue to have, of course, but they're a little thinner in the outfield and other positions. So, either they're going to be moving guys or they're going to be trying to trade guys. There's got to be something that gives. What I don't want to see, what I hope does not happen, is they become an organization where they just sit the guys down in the minor leagues, and don't do anything. I've seen that way too much, so I just don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, I'd like to see is the middle infielders, like you were saying, getting moved out into the outfield to fill those gaps rather than trading those guys to fill outside needs, or like you said, just putting them down in the minors, let them soak. Yeah, I hate to say anything bad about the Tampa Bay Rays because they're such a well-run organization at this point, but they're just notorious for just sitting on guys down in the minors, and it's driving me nuts. And I don't want to see that in the Reds because they got something good going. They're cooking. Throw a little bit of grease on it, man. Let's go. Let's rock and roll.
Let them cook. Let them cook.
Ricardo Cabrera is number 7.
Go get him, right? He's a go get him. That's an easy endorsement from both a value perspective for me and from a talent perspective. Go get Ricardo Cabrera.
Yeah, he's probably going to be available in your first year player drafts. Let's be honest.
Rule of thumb, though, never pay more than the other side is willing to accept. Just always keep that in mind.
I do it all the time. Number six is Ashedri Vargas. Ashedri Vargas is with the single A affiliate with the Texas Rangers. Once again, a team that's just on fire with finding different personnel. And Ashedri is 18 years old. He is out of, is that the Dominican? What is the DOM?
Yeah, he's Dominican Republic.
Okay, I apologize. I've never seen MILB spelled out DOM. That's very odd to me. Okay. Anyways.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyways, Ashedri Vargas. He's got 2 different placements throughout the year in 2023. But as a whole, in 2022 and in 2023, he has 395 at-bats. He's batted .309 with an on-base of .378, slugged .539 with an on-base plus slugging of .917. He has 30 stolen bases and 15 home runs, 3 triples, 34 doubles. I mean, the guy's just a hitting freaking machine, and not like none of them are small fries. It's a bomb, it's a triple, it's a double, and then sprinkling some singles there. There's he's not it's not counterfeit here. You know what I mean? It's not just a bunch of singles getting the 309 average. It is spraying the ball everywhere. I don't know anything about this guy, but everything about him, I say go get him.
You like what you see?
Well, it's kind of hard not to.
Yeah. Okay. Shedry Vargas, I'm going to just go ahead and say I agree with you. He's showing off a lot of power potential, insane power potential. I mean, as exhibited by his .568 slugging percentage. And he did it last year too in the DSL. Granted, it was the DSL. But we're looking at somebody through their career that's a .539 slugger. And he's pretty young, spending most of the season this year at the rookie level, but he got 2 plate appearances at least, single A. He garners one of the most impressive comps in all of Scout the Statline to Sammy Sosa.
That's awesome.
Because he's got tremendous power potential. They're keying in on this, and I'm looking at the non-regressed projections right now, but 38 home runs per 600 plate appearances at peak. That would be some of the best in the minor leagues. And a 75 for Scout grade equivalency for power. And that comes without sacrificing much for speed, as he projects for 15 stolen bases as well. So there's a really exciting talent that we're looking at potentially here with Shedry Vargas. He does strike out more than the guys that we've talked about earlier in this list. He was at 25% this year. At peak, he's projecting for 22%, which is pretty manageable. So we'll have to wait and see on that, but very promising. And I've seen this guy in drafts going in 100, so he is getting some notoriety. So you want to act now before it's too late.
Yeah, I love this guy. He also plays for, I think, going to be my next baseball cap that I buy, the Down East Wood Ducks. It's just a great name.
Yeah. Interesting. Nice.
We've been seeing a lot of Down East Wood Ducks throughout the last couple of years for the Texas Rangers. I love that team, man. It's a great team name, and they have a great logo mascot. It's going to be my next hat. I would say Shedry Vargas, go get him right now before the season starts, because he is going to be popping up on everybody's top 100 list.
Yep.
Go get him.
Go get him.